The SEC has just approved an XRP ETF. And this is huge news, but it's not going to affect the price like you think. After I read this story, I'm going to explain why and how the price will be affected and when. And before we do that, I want to ask you to do something very simple, because a lot of you, I guarantee 90% of the people watching this video own cryptocurrency. If you own cryptocurrency, especially XRP, can you do me a favor? Just type it down below. But I want you to say something. I want you to repeat something after me. And I know this sounds funny to a few, but I think the masses will know exactly what I'm doing. You see, every time there is a cycle in any kind of way of making money, whether it be real estate, stocks, and especially crypto, the majority of people miss it and they don't make money from it. They don't know when to buy, they don't know when to sell, they're paralyzed in fear, or they have this unknowing. They have a knowledge that they don't know what they're doing, but they still run out and do it. So I'm going to ask you to repeat something after me. I know it's going to sound crazy. We're going to rewire your brains right now, and this absolutely works. Repeat this after me. I will win during this crypto cycle. My accounts will increase and not decrease because I will begin to see the cycles like I'm in a money matrix. Now, if you repeated that out loud, do me a favor and just type 1. Now, I'm being very serious right now. So many of us do not understand, humans do not understand the power of the spoken word. And when you start to speak a certain way, it starts to unlock your brain. Now, I know this sounds funny, but this is the truth. I can see things in a way, I feel like the Matrix. When I'm looking at CoinMarketCap, I can watch the flow of where humans are going to be selling and where they're going to be buying next. Now, it's not a perfect science, but after not only a lot of time invested in cryptocurrency markets, doing all these different things from beta testing, and yeah, I've told you guys a story, and really speaking positively and opening up my brain to see where money is going to flow, you get this feeling and you just go with it, and it works. It's great. But you have to rewire your brain. All right. So I'm going to read this story, and there are a lot of people that own XRP. I own a good clip of XRP, and this is exciting, but I'm going to be able to use life experience and something a lot of you witnessed when Bitcoin ETFs came out, and I made an announcement on the channel 2 Januaries ago. Okay, so we're going to share this story. We're going to teach you. This doesn't mean you need to race out, because the price of XRP is down right now as this news just comes out. This is breaking news. Okay, so let's do that. And I want to remind you, the DeFi group, the master class, if you want to learn how to buy decentralized finance cryptos when they're off major exchanges before they get onto them and the prices increase 85% of the time, because there's more trading volume and more money chasing the tokens, or if you want to be a part of our trade calls, our monthly coaching groups, this is the last time we're going to offer this, okay? And we don't know when we're going to close a sale. When we have a certain amount of students in, we're going to close this off. We're never going to offer it again, because there's 6 months left of the coaching calls, okay? And the trade calls. So the link to that is down below. All right, here's the story, and then we're going to explain why the price is going down right now. As of right now, recording this video, please don't watch this video 2 months from now and tell me I'm wrong. I don't know what to tell you. Here, I know you know what, this sounds funny, but you got to do this, because people will watch a video 2 months later and they go, no, it's up today. And I'm like, what the? And I'm just trying to help the masses, but sometimes there's some interesting people inside the masses. CoinMarketCap. So as of the recording of this live video, Bitcoin's down 3%, F is down barely, not really even talk about, and XRP is down 2%. So you see, there you go. There it says XRP, and it's down as this news comes out. Mind you, this is news, this ETF news that the world's been waiting for a long time. All right, so here we go. Happened today. ProShares Ultra XRP ETF has been approved for NYSE ARCA listing. It says the US SEC has approved the listing of the ProShares Ultra XRP ETF on the NYSE. According to a filing dated July 14th, the leveraged futures-based fund will trade under the ticker UXRP. Trading is expected to begin by the end of this week. That's epic, right? All right. says the ETF has also been added to the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, the DTCC, eligibility list, a key step before trading. While a product page is already live, the fund has not yet traded at the time of this publication. So this is breaking news, okay? And they're not wasting any time. From the announcement, the filing, and this news story, within 2 or 3 days, we should see the XRP ETF trading. And I'm going to explain why that's a big deal, but not in the time frame that most investors think. It says, meanwhile, ProShares Ultra XRP ETF aims to deliver 2x the daily performance of an XRP index. Ooh, so we're going to be a little leveraged, right? So there's going to be some time decay, and that's a whole nother video. But anyway, rather than owning the token directly, the fund intermediates it through derivative products. So there's no actual XRP being purchased, okay? So please consider that, all right? Futures contracts and swap agreements. This enables investors to gain leverage on the price of XRP without necessarily processing the asset. So this is a big deal, okay? So before you race out and buy XRP thinking that the ETF is going to pull XRP off of the market, the open market, and store it somewhere, it's not, okay? This is a derivatives product. So that's really important to note. Next, let's say that today's announcement was an ETF that would be buying XRP and storing it somewhere, similar to, let's say, what MicroStrategy is doing, okay? The truth of the matter is, the day that's announced, it's not going to move the price huge either. It may pop a few percent, but it's not going to have some huge price swing immediately. What will happen is it will take a month, 2 months, and especially one full quarter to be able to have the reports coming out from Wall Street of how much XRP or how much inflows to that ETF happened, meaning how much actual XRP was pulled off the market. Now with ETFs, something that's really important to note is ETFs have daily inflows, I don't know which direction to go, and outflows, okay? So they can sell off as well. However, by and large, an ETF does create a demand because there's never, when people buy the ETF on their TD Ameritrade account or the E-Trade account, and the ETF has the custody percentage or that amount of crypto or whatever they're selling, there's never 100% of the people that race out and sell it, okay? So there's always, ETFs always do, the ones that have physical products in their treasury, they always, at a certain point, are absorbing a certain amount of an asset and taking it off the market. If that makes sense, please understand that. Please type 2 if that makes sense, in the ninja's really weird way of explaining things. So an ETF that is purchasing physical XRP tokens, yeah, I know it sounds funny, it's physical. It's physical when you could see them recorded on the blockchain, on the ledger, the XRPL. When they're pulling them off and putting them in, they're custodying them and putting them into storage, that's a good thing. But it takes a while for the price really to move. Now, let's go back to 2 Januaries ago. 2 Januaries ago is when the very first Bitcoin ETF that was not a derivative was announced. And I came out and I said, this is the time, start diving into Bitcoin. Now, the price of Bitcoin did not rise right away, but it was slowly and steadily moving up, very little. And it was a great time to buy because I said, hey, in the next 90 days, and especially in the next 6 months, we're going to have 2 sets of quarters where these ETFs have to file reports stating how much they bought, sold, all that stuff, right? Sure, we see these daily swings because there are reporters that are out there watching, but the quarterly reports are really big. So you want to be positioned prior to those coming out, because I'm telling you, and I've told people 2 Januaries ago, type yes or no if you remember me saying this. It's going to move the price of Bitcoin massively. Now, back then, 2 Januaries ago, I believe the price of Bitcoin was in the 50,000 range, 56. And it seemed like it was just sitting there forever. You'd see those emojis of people going, with a stick, just poking at Bitcoin going, what am I poking? What am I poking? Poking the stick, the Bitcoin stick going, do something, do something. Finally, Bitcoin just went. And it screamed and took off. And And that's what's about to happen with XRP, okay? So here's the thing. Yesterday, huge day, right? Huge day. And I was sitting there going, remember, there's going to be a little bit of a pullback. And as a matter of fact, let me give you an example of human emotion. I was talking to a very intelligent lady, amazing lady, on the phone, and I was saying, my call for Bitcoin at 150 grand and silver will be $35 an ounce is looking like it's lining up. And the first thing she said, she goes, Travis, silver's $40 or almost $40. I said, yeah, but remember, that can pull back. And it's funny because, and I used it as an example. I said, see, this is what humans do. Humans look at something and they go, well, silver's almost $40. It's not gonna be $40 in the future. It's $40. It's already $40. What makes you, it's already past $35, Travis? And I go, yeah, but markets, and that's what I started the video with, and that's why I need you to say something out loud to start rewiring your brain. Markets are completely fluid. They're totally fluid. And that's what's exciting when you become it wasn't Orwell. I'm trying to remember, who was it? Not C.S. Lewis. There was a great intellectual that said, the type of human being that is flexible, malleable, able to pivot will be the one that adaptive. The one that can adapt will survive and thrive, right? Well, it's the same way with wealth. When you start to see other markets, they're all moving like this, and you move in and out of them, I'm telling you, that's when you make the massive, massive money. I heard it the other day. Somebody sat there and they said on a post on X, right? X is an amazing place. If you want to watch how their minds work. Someone said, well, who would listen? They were talking about me, right? Who would listen to this guy because he sold his XRP and he bought some crap coin XCN, right? And someone jumps under there and obviously, and this was an amazing answer. He said, well, obviously you haven't been paying too much attention to what the ninja says, because the amount that he sold is more than most people on earth have. And secondly, he bought XCN at 0.007 to 009. I mean, like, he must have been one of my DeFi students, because my DeFi students know things that are going on behind the scene that I never talk about on the channel, right? Because, and then he said, and look at the price of the two. He's made more money doing that than just holding on to the XRP, because the person said, look, XRP is like $3. And that's how most people think, and that's why they end up losing during these economic cycles, especially these crypto cycles. Now, have I nailed every single one? Heck no. I learned so many lessons the hard way in 2017. And even though I saw a $10,000 investment turn into $1 million, remember, it came crashing down to where it settled around, I don't know, 180, 250,000, depending on the day. Back then, it's all back up now. But, I had to hold on to that stuff. You didn't see me going around and taking that money and going and buying expensive things. I had other money, other places, got other businesses going. But that's why it's important to be flexible. So with this ETF information, this is what's going to set aside the winners from the losers. The emotional people are going to race out there. And I'm telling you, you're going to probably see a bunch of YouTubers that are all XRP fanatics. They probably got, $1,000, $5,000 worth of XRP. I can't get over, some of these people, wear suits and play it off like they're millionaires, and whatever, they're not. And so my point is that when you see all these news stories coming out, this is the greatest news ever, just don't buy the hype. This is a derivative product, okay? It's fake XRP. So please understand that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's your truth. You know what it's going to do? The derivative products, the ETF products out there, all the SEC's watching, and all these other ETFs that want to custody real XRP are watching, going, what kind of volumes? Hey, what kind of inflows is what's their name's ETF doing? That much? Oh crap, we gotta file. We gotta get ours going. That's what's gonna happen, okay? It usually always starts with derivatives, because derivatives, they're always backed by an insurance policy. And remember, that's how the 2008 crisis happened. It's almost like history's repeating itself. Hey, I hope you got something out of this. If you want to be part of the DeFi group, get our trade calls, our monthly coaching. You'll find out what me and Dylan are doing. There's 6 months of those left, plus the DeFi course showing you all of that stuff. Links down below. This is the last time we're going to offer this actually at all, because we're closing that product down. All right. I hope you have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.